People often ask me what's better, a jury trial or a judge trial? And the answer is somewhat complicated. There is no straight answer to this situation. It really depends on what you're charged with, the audience that you're in front of, the judge, and what your attorney is trying to do with the case. So let's talk about a judge-alone trial. In this situation, the judge will decide the issues of law and fact, meaning that the judge, he or she will decide whether you are not guilty or guilty. He will decide this after hearing all the evidence and deciding all the issues of fact and law. Now, issues of fact are like the facts surrounding why you were arrested, the evidence that the police had, the evidence against you, what witnesses testified against you, what documents or pieces of property were brought into evidence before the judge to show why the prosecution can state that you were guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In addition to issues of fact, the judge will also deal with issues of law, like what evidence is admissible against you. A piece of evidence is admissible when the law says that the prosecution is able to present it because it doesn't violate any of your constitutional rights, like your Fourth Amendment right, your Fifth Amendment right, or your Sixth Amendment right. If it violates your constitutional right, the evidence is not admissible and the prosecution cannot use it against you. Now, with the jury trial, the jury will decide issues of fact. So the jury will hear the evidence and decide whether or not you are guilty or not guilty. The judge in these situations will still decide the issues of law, meaning that the jury will hear the facts, they'll decide whether or not you're guilty or not guilty, but the judge will decide what evidence is admissible or inadmissible. So frequently during a trial, you'll hear objections, and an objection will either be sustained or overruled. Now, a judge-alone trial is often a better option in situations where your defense is that you did it, but your attorney is trying to argue that the degree of criminality isn't as serious as the prosecution has argued. A jury trial is often better suited in situations where the defense's theory is fabrication. Now, often a fabrication theory of defense will work better with a jury as opposed to a judge, because judges, you have to understand, hear thousands of these cases every year, and their opinion sometimes is often jaded. So it's better to proceed with a jury because a jury isn't obviously in this situation often, and your attorney can often make a better argument to these individuals as opposed to a judge alone.